There are some people who do and some people who don't like to fire people. Right? Like to fire people. Like, it's just everyone wants to be in charge. Okay? Part of being in charge is you're going to have to fire somebody. Now, you don't want somebody who takes joy in firing people, as that's the case in that show, that there are some people that take joy in firing that people. But I do think that it's really fair to say that that's a challenge that a lot of people go through when you want to be in charge. You want to be in charge of something? Good. It's not just the fun stuff. You got to do the tough stuff too. And the tough stuff is firing people. And I think part of firing people is you're the bad guy. Who wants to be the bad guy? LeBron James is, without any question, one of the greatest athletes in the history of American sports. The number one thing he struggled with during his time in Miami was he wore the black hat. He was the bad guy. Right? It's one of the things that it's one of the benefits that Draymond Green can bring to your team is he can be the bad guy. Now, he doesn't have the top end of some of the others, but that's something that he actually does exceptionally well. And I thought that was the thing that's missing from the NBA draft last night. There was nobody that wanted to be the bad guy. Nobody that stepped up and said, like, you got a little bit of it with Adrian Wojnarowski trying to explain why Cam Whitworth sat so long in the green room, despite having a very well-regarded high school career, AAU career, play with Team USA basketball. People at Villanova talked about how talented he was. He was injured part of the year. Now, I was told most of it was actually his medicals, but apparently he didn't have a great attitude some of these workouts. He didn't give off the persona of somebody who, no matter where he went, that's where he wanted to be. But there just wasn't anybody on that dais that was willing to be the bad guy. Everybody was great. Everything was great. They're great. Why is he sitting? I don't know. He's great. He's great. He's great. And I make great TV. It's one of the things about Simon Cowell that he was able to lock in on, right? Simon Cowell made a career on saying, that's terrible. That's the worst performance I've ever seen. But look, you're going to hurt people's feelings. And, oh yeah, by the way, if you say, this guy can't play, that guy can't play, he's going to be what happens? Oh, you could be made to look a fool. I mean, look, dude, I nailed in the 80-85% of predictions on what somebody could ultimately be in the NBA, but there ain't a week that goes by that I talk about the NBA or NBA draft that somebody doesn't bring up. And by the way, they don't contextualize it correctly. That I didn't think Steph Curry was going to be as good, had the ceiling as a pro of Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio. I was wrong. If you want to find somebody that bats 1,000, good luck. But it's easy to sort of bat 1,000 if you say everybody's great, right? That makes it really, really easy. So people ask what's going on in Portland. Same thing. Right? Same thing. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. Nobody wants to say, you know what? Dame, you've been awesome, but we can just get a killer deal for you. So right now you say, anybody who calls, we're not interested. You just heard from Mark Stein. They're going to wait until Damian Lillard says, I want to be traded, and Damian Lillard wants to wait until they trade him. And the second he hears any sort of change in their stance, that's when Damian Lillard doesn't want to be the bad guy. He's got so much equity. He's incredibly popular. And I actually sympathize with Damian Lillard. Sympathize with him. Which is, you have so much equity. There are so many people who think you're awesome. He's one of the most popular players in the league with other players. He's one of the most popular players in the league with fans. I mean, it's crazy. Carmelo Anthony was an incredible scorer. Incredible. Didn't play defense. Called off other dudes on rebounds. But best scorer in the league. But, he just wasn't necessarily beloved. A lot of people still like Carmelo, though. But if you raise a stink, or if you ask to be traded, or if you chase a ring, as people want to say you chase a ring, like look what happened to Kevin Durant. When Kevin Durant won the MVP, it was one of the most beloved moments in the history of that award. Remember, he gave it up to his mom, "You're the real MVP." Like, man, I love Kevin Durant. Then they're up 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors. In Game 6, he doesn't play well. Klay Thompson plays incredibly well. They lose to a tremendous team who, by the way, ends up losing after being up 3-1 in the NBA playoffs, in the NBA Finals. And as a free agent, much like LeBron James, he chooses to leave. Now, there's a lot of different things you could say about it or think about it, but like if the decision is you get to go to a place you want to live and you want to be successful, like, is there anything more successful than being somewhere for 3 years and going to 3 NBA Finals and winning 2 championships, and the only reason you didn't win a third was because you were injured? But what happened? He became the bad guy. Not everybody is built to be the bad guy. Not everybody likes being the bad guy. And there are lots of people who say, I want to be the bad guy, I'm okay being the bad guy, and the truth is they're not. And the perfect example of it in your life is everybody wants to be the boss. Okay. If you're the boss, you don't just get to hire and make good decisions and give people raises and you want to be the boss? Cool. First thing you got to do is go fire that dude. Oh, hey, you got to go fire a friend. Maybe you got to go fire somebody who you were a competitor with, but because you're in the same position, you both made it work, yada, 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 yada. What's going on in Portland? Nobody wants to be the bad guy. Remember, Damian Lillard has had no recent communication with the team. The general manager's come out and said, hey, I want to hold on to Damian Lillard. Like, he's our most important asset. And there's no doubt they're going to try and package some of those guards, maybe one off or move them a bunch of different places and try and get other players. All right, guys on sign and trades. Like, all of this stuff makes sense. But at the end of the day, like, the best possible scenario, the smartest thing to do is trade Damian Lillard and go build yourself a team. Start over. But it's really hard to be the bad guy. The bad guy is the guy that trades away a Hall of Famer. And Damian Lillard's a Hall of Famer.